Super grateful you're here. Hello, Miss Norma. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. T, how about you? Just, those extra massive downloads I'll be keep getting. But, I do the best I can to spread the word.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Today is Sunday. This is Adventures for Connection Intercollective Sunday Vibes. This is your show. What questions do you have? How can we answer or assist? This is all about you. We obviously have topics and we lead the conversation as we go, but definitely for today, um, energy wise, I'll do a little energy update because that's what I do. Ebbs and tides and flows. I suspect, and I don't know for fact, I go by how I feel, that the Lionsgate stars aligned yesterday, not the 8th. So I try and bridge these things because I'm like, there's a lot of truth to this, there's a lot of truth to that. So when you bridge them both, it leaves you open to all possibilities. So I'm not going, no, it's this way and this is the fact, because I'm the observer of all that is. And I take what resonates and I leave the rest, as should all of you. Yeah. And so when something feels true for you, that little voice inside, that little nee, 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 nee. So we can look at that. We can still talk about the photon belt, when we can still talk about the fact that there's solar flares coming in, right? That Earth is vibrating more. So there's lots going on energetically, and it's very important for each of us to manage our own energy. For that is the most important thing, is what is best for me in this time and space right now. So jump on and say hi. Please give it a thumbs up. And if you have somebody that should hear this, please share it out, because, sharing is caring. The other thing, and before Norma jumps into something she wants to share that she's been coming into, conversation the other day around conception date versus birth date. So talking about the light and talking about the energy, it would be when the sperm enters the egg, single cell, there is a burst of light. So there's some talk around that being one of the most important astrological signs for a person. So here's Tanja going to investigate this one. So I'll leave you with that and pass it to Norma, because it's all relative. It all has to do with astrology being the cosmic clock, so that we can understand where we are right now.
Oh, is it me now? Yeah, no, and it makes complete sense, because I've spoke to this before about the gestational period from that time until we are created here in a manifested state. So to me, it makes a lot of sense, because, as I spoke to, it's all about the energies, and it's about the energies that are taking place during that gestational period that helps to formulate the vessel, the form, the avatar, how it is you want to conceptualize it, and its making. And, a lot of it has to do with your position and where you're at in that time of birth, or even in, the region or in that area. And it definitely speaks a lot to at least the environmental influence you are experiencing while in your mother's womb. So to me, it makes complete sense to say that that conceptual time is the most profound time, especially when you look at it at the astrological level, because when you begin to understand the astrological level and it being its own sequence of time, and understanding that all the way to the macro down to the micro is quite profound. I mean, it's a lot that I've been coming into, especially looking at the yugas, understanding how the yugas go, knowing that they have time. Yeah.
Sorry, I want to ask the questions as we go, so I just slow you down a little bit. What is a yuga, for those that don't know? Is it ooga, ooga, ooga? It reminds me of like some critter. So tell us what a yuga is.
There are 4 yugas, and they have to do with periods in time of what takes place with us. Give me just a second here. I'm going to Hang on, let me get them in front of me so that way I have.
Okay. That's okay. Take your time, because I'll just go on to explain now. So the astrology is like a cosmic clock, whether you're following what's in the sky or because for so long we've been following what's called tropical. And again, I bridge the two. There's also a couple other astrology things. I'm just types of astrology I'm coming into. And so again, bridging it all, because if you have the full understanding, then it is much easier. Are you able to present?
No, not yet.
Okay. And so as we go around the cosmic clock, we hit certain astrological signs, the stars line up differently. And so one of these big cycles is called a yuga. And these yugas are broken down into quite specific. And these come from ancient astrology. And we keep saying, yeah, we left ourselves all these clues within this game, construct, world, whatever you choose to call it, so that we could find our way back to ourselves and to home.
Okay.
Uga is a station wagon.
What's that?
Uga is a station wagon.
Right.
Uga comes from.
Uga. You know, and it's profound whenever when you bring those situations up, you know, that, you know, they make more sense whenever you have something to relate them to. So yeah. Yuga, Uga, and things like that. So yeah, the concept of yugas or ages is deeply embedded in various Indian religious traditions, representations, but yet you can even get to a point where you look all the way back at the Mayans, who are actually what you call time masters. They used to be able to manipulate time. So the four yugas are the Krita Yuga, which is the Satya Yuga. The duration of that is 1,728,000 years. Now, do understand that all these years all calculate to up to 9. That's it. They all calculate up to 9. So the next one is the Treta Yuga, and then the other one is the Dwapara. I can't even say the last one. It's the Yuga. So the Treta Yuga is 1,296,000 years. Yeah. The Dwapara Yuga is 864,000 years, and the Kali Yuga, which is what they say we're in right now, is 432,000 years. So what we must understand is once these yugas run their fullness of their cycle, then it's defined as a Maha Yuga, and it's called a great age. So this is what everybody's been speaking to a lot, you know, here and there and things like that, as we continue to take in this information to get a better understanding of who we are, where we're at, what's taking place in this cosmic, in the cosmic clock of life. But understand that it begins within first, because we have our own internal clock. We're all born with it. So it's our own guidance system. And when we begin to realize and recognize that what we see outside of us is just a projection of what we base our journey of this thing called life from. And that's,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. And so if we look at this ancient wisdom and we go through these stages and ages, it just gives you a bit more of a compass per se. It's like the most outer ring compass, being you at the center and the starting point and the ending point, really, because we spiral out and then we come back in and really remember why we're here, who we are. And so the most important thing we can do each and every day, just to bring it down to the self, is to do what you need from Kali Yuga. I love this.
Right? What a great way to start this off. Yes.
Right?
There's a lot of people in a great mood, it seems. So that's beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's always good to start with a laugh. But what can I control and what can I do with this information? And so all we're wanting to spark within each of you is, I want to know more about self. I want to know more about my conception date, which I figured out mine, right? We figured out Norma. So you can take it and play with it and see if you can find your conception date and conception time if you choose. And then put that in astrology and see if it resonates. We're just exploring. We're exploring this world with the tools we're picking up as we go, and the tools and the clues and the feedback. And that's what, even though life is not always easy and sometimes we're really struggling. And I had a pretty pushy month last month, so to speak, right? Where our little buttons were being Norma's laughing about it. And then
I just get to witness.
Right? She just gets to witness. And then it shifted somewhat. So, it's always going to change. No matter how stuck you feel or how upset or sad or frustrated, it will change. And so what can you do for self-care? To love self, to love yourself so unconditionally that it doesn't matter if you have somebody else in your life, because you're so happy with you and hanging out with you and meditating with you. And it's like, oh, this is so much fun. Yeah, Jade, I'm busy. What are you doing, Mom? It's just me. So to really realize that was one of the most beautiful things. And so then as you expand, it's easier to pick up more information and bring it into your collection. But if you're getting rid of things right now, whether it's childhood trauma, people are bouncing out of your field, you're having to let people go, you're having to let family boundaries, like this is all happening in real time. Everybody's having their very own unique experience. Just remember there's only one you, and you get to choose and carve out your experience, and you can shift it. And that's what we've been working on in membership. So go ahead, Norma. Back to the ooga, ooga, ooga.
I know you do ooga, and it just makes me think of the bulldog that is the name of the bulldog for the UGA, because, being from Georgia and all. But his name's Uga or Uga. So, yeah.
I had no idea. I don't know what. It's
quite
from
fascinating,
that
right?
Song. It's from that song. You can't start this feeling.
Ooga,
Ooga,
ooga. Yeah.
Now you know the song. All right, you guys, you all got it now.
We're looking back at all these time period, and growing up in the 80s was, that was the time period that I did a lot of, was my youth. And these songs were coming out then, and to be able to reflect back on that time, to see where we're at now, and to be able to be putting this together to understand just my journey. Okay. Yeah. When I bring this information, y'all do understand this is my understanding of my journey. Yeah. That I'm just sharing with you as a story. And this story is to be able to broaden your ability to see beyond where you're at, to be able to go within and explore the individual that you are. That's the joy of this journey. That was what was meant to be the joy, is the journey of self-exploration, and then be able to take that self-exploration and pull it for wherever you can in your own Taurus field. Okay. Because this is your world. You are a world. And be able to say, I have the ability to have this conceptualization of this creation that I can bring into this manifest and show and provide a visual for everyone. And all I can do is hope that the story that I provide is one of those that people can relate to, like a movie or a book, right, or a song, however it may be, because that's how we express. We express in words, in visuals, in sound. That's the reason why we have the senses that we have. And it's freaking profound. It's the more and more I get into all this, the more and more I get excited, because, even if I can only tell a story and a few only hear, what the beauty about it is I know that at some level I'm leaving a type of legacy behind that speaks about me, that tells about my story. And that's what this is about, is to be able to know that if this time comes that I've completed all these cycles and I've come to that place where I feel whole, and I'm saying, and I'm one, and I get to go out and explore in a different way other than just inform, then I can do it knowing that I've completed this having a way knowing that I've left a piece of myself in time.
And puzzle, right? For others to it's like you
Yeah.
think about all these writers and authors that, Dolores Cannon, for example, right? Has all these truth bombs. 10 years ago, I would have been going, huh? What's she talking about? I don't understand, right? But when you are ready to hear the words, they will show up in your field. Yes, the stories that ripple out to others. Is that the name of the song, Janice? Ooga Chaka, Ooga Chaka? I'm trying to remember the name of the song now. Anyways, it's the theme of the day to have that song going in my
Can't
head.
stop the speed. No, that's not it. I can't remember. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's okay. Just can't stop this feeling. Deep inside, no. Yeah, that's it. 100%. But I just can't remember the name of the song either. I can't stop this feeling. That is the name of the song. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right. We're not allowed to sing it on here because we might get caught for infringement.
More than a feeling. Oh,
no. More than a feeling, right? Yes. Awesome. See, what a good song. So, and isn't that funny? And I started off talking about how you feel is the most important thing. How does something make you feel? And then, boom. And then we go to the Ooga, and then that song comes in. Like, you can't make up these synchronicities, this frequency, this game.
yeah.
It's, even when struggling, I can laugh my ass off at myself. Yeah, even this morning I'm making coffee and I'm like, what's dripping down the window? And I'm like, oh, I think it's from the blow up that it got into the crack between the window glass and the seal. And because it's hotter, it's like dripped down. I touched it. I'm like, oh, it's oily. Oh, I know what this is.
A day of alchemization, man. Let me tell you, it was quite explosive.
Right?
And it's funny because like this last couple of days, there's been the song sowing seeds of love from Tears for Fears.
Yeah. Sowing the seeds of love. Absolutely. And we're always planting those seeds, whether it's for us or it's for others. Yeah. I just really want to remind everyone to spend a little more time filling up your cup. What do you need to do to fill up your cup? Is it a dance? Jiggy, jiggy, jiggy. Like, what do you do to fill up your cup? I just came in from a swim. 15, 20 minutes out in the sun. I got my little vitamin D. I'm all jazzed. Okay, let's go.
I'm all jacked up.
Let's get an invitation. And this morning I got up and I went to Jade's room and I was like, do you like waffles? Yeah, I like waffles. And then we go downstairs and Jade says to Norma, do you like waffles? And so we made waffles. And then had really big naps because breakfast and brunch is not really a thing in this house, and certainly not waffles. Yeah, but they were delicious. Absolutely. And you sunbathe for an hour. Beautiful. It's very cleansing and clearing for some of us, not for everyone. But, it's a reminder that without getting in the sun, you're like a plant and you're missing out on some really important nutrients. Wither away. Yeah. And and I don't stay out there for hours and hours, but I definitely like to get out there 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, maybe an hour if I'm in and out of a creek or a river, something nice, cool to swim in. Yeah, absolutely. Grand Rising. I got visitors from across the pond, so to speak.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Aussies, eh?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Farmers market, beach, feet in the sand and ocean. Beautiful. Absolutely. We love seeing this. I get the sense, the vibe I'm feeling is everyone's feeling pretty damn good today. That's what I'm getting. Yeah. So we also want to talk about a particular movie. Who's seen Everything Everywhere All at Once? Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, I saw it when it first came out. Norma hadn't seen it. and I was triggered to play it because she asked me, and it was one of those things. It was like, bing, 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 bing. All right, we got to watch this movie. And so we watched it, and it was a huge click for you. Shay watched it today. Beautiful. Well, then you'll totally saw it this year. Perfect. Yeah, I saw it a few years ago, and then it again just recently, and quite a different perspective this time than last time. In other words, I'm much more aware of some of these things. So, Norma Jean, over to you.
You know, it was one of those that once I was able to sit with it for a couple of days and just let it just, present itself to me, as far as, it's a great way of being able to bring forth information about what takes place within you.
Yeah.
And then on top of knowing that what takes place outside of you too, in all the bombardingness of everything that's going on in this, in your immediate environment, in this so-called in the world, as far as where the collective's concerned. So when we look at the Taurus field, and we understand that that Taurus field is our force field, unless over time we allow that force field to kind of get a little weak and break down, because then we have all this information seeking to bring us out and to experience what's taking place in this world outside of us. And a lot of that I come to understand was that this is where I began to realize and recognize I had no control of the life that I was living, because I was allowing so much of the outside influence to direct me and to take me to places that, just wasn't always what was best for me. So it wasn't until I went in and found out that the heart can lead the mind instead of the information coming in through the visual of the eye, that instead of taking that information in and allowing the mind to utilize the brain to take you, because that's what outside forces do, going within allowed the heart to begin to tap into the mind. Yeah. And the heart began to lead the mind. and the moral of the story is that's what everything, everywhere, all at once is speaking to, because each day we choose to come here. We have the free will choice to change our direction as to how we're going to live this life.
How we respond.
Whether we're going to be directed to live this life, or we take the wheel and the helm and we say, we're going to direct our life. And that's where sovereignty comes in at, ultimately. To be able to understand that you come to the precipice that in this movie, everybody was probably so focused on the events that were taking place in between, which all of us are because of what's going on, until we sit with something. I began to realize and recognize it was the beginning and the end that truly spoke to the moral of the story. And it was just a recognition for, the story is that the single mom came to realize, I'm losing my husband and my daughter, which I have a connection to because I birthed this world. And in that recognition is where, if you look at the here, now, time, space, and the things that are going on in all the, the propaganda and everything that's wanting to have our attention, is where the heart steps in and says, it's my turn. It's my turn to fight for the ability to show the mind the truth of who you are and what's taking place. And that these outside forces are directing your life in ways that, is chaotic, because you have no ability for the most part to have that direction you need, or the time to stop and to reflect on what's taking place in your environment, given how you're responding and reacting to it.
Yeah, so, you have anything, and that goes back to so everything, everywhere, all at once also refers to parallels, right? So different vibrations, and then how you can simply shift. Everyone's like dropping timelines, shifting timelines, right? Parallel, in my opinion, because they're different vibrations. So that's what she was doing through the movie, which can get quite confusing. Like, what the fudge is going on? But she's shifting parallels, right? And so she's shifting her vibration. Look what I can do here. Oh, look who I am, right? And up leveling as she went, to the point where, yes, her heart expanded, and she was allowing her heart then to direct her more. And
Yes.
so this is the beautiful thing about that. And so we look at the world and we watch something on the news or TV. Is it CGI? Is it real? I don't even know anymore, right? I'm not even giving it my attention. I choose me. I choose me here now. And so you see so much division out there because people are so focused externally because they're not willing to look at self and work on self. You can only lead by the heart when you're ready to take responsibility for you. And that's really what we're wishing for everyone. And it's not unpacking unpacking the baggage to drop it off the train, ship, whatever you want to call it, is an important part. And so one can't get through that. Maybe it's grieving what you've lost, maybe it's letting go, but realizing that to lead from your own heart, even though you may cry sometimes, it's an emotion and it's a release and it's great. It's good for you. That it's a way better place to be than relying and waiting on external forces and circumstances to change so that you're happier. Chuck that in the fucking bucket and move on.
You know, Khalil Gibran stated it best. We weep for that which we've not lost.
Yeah, just forgotten.
No, it's never lost. We weep for that which we've not lost, because what we do is we have a tendency as humans to think we've lost something because we were putting it on something outside of us. We always have it. And we weep for that which we have not lost, because we weep because it was something that was outside of us that we had to let go, only to come to the realization and recognition that it was always with us because we were it. And so, you know, it's just a human experience. And it's just that, to a level and degree, depending on who we allowed that mirror to be for us, for that which we felt we lost, that we just feel that had that in that particular person or place or thing just had that energy that resonated for us at the time, that when we get to that place to let go, it's you have to cry. You have to move those emotions. You have to express them so they don't sit. So that way you keep that river flowing. You keep that motion and that energy going and moving. Yeah. Profound.
Yeah. Absolutely. Melanie's asking, is one of our goals to unite the many fractals of ourselves, or is that not necessary? Do we focus on making this one the best one by facing shadows? I always say you do what resonates for you in the space and time. I don't recommend going on a hamster wheel of healing or shadow work or collecting yourself. Whatever is showing up is meant for you to look at that time, whether that's inner child work, some healing, timelines, parallels are definitely shifting at the moment. A lot of them are, you're automatically bringing more of yourself here right now because the vibration's increasing. So it's going to be automatic that we have this opportunity. But, you know, I would just be the observer and do something that brings you joy right now. Lots of joy, because that will shift energy really quickly. And so, yes, shadows are important, because only when a shadow is brought to the light, you're like, oh, that's actually important. I needed to see that. That is part of me. We don't run around singing out love and light, love and light, love and light, because that's unbalanced. So what we want is a balance. Why I'm willing to talk about, you know, last month was not an easy month for me. The last year, I just found out all this information from astrology, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, because it's been like a little more pressure than I'm used to, despite me doing more joyful things, despite the traveling more, despite. And so now I know why. And then that made it so easy. Plus, coming into new information that lights you up and has you remembering is always a good thing. This is why I believe we are meant to seek information, meant to constantly learn. For when I'm not learning, I'm stagnant. And if I'm stagnant, what happens if some water's stagnant? This is that movement of energy. And so, and a way to express yourself. You don't have to be doing lives like this. You could be writing, you could be voice recording, you could be doing videos. I don't like listening to myself. As soon as she's like editing something downstairs, I'm like, okay, I don't want to listen to myself. And I walk away because I don't want to listen to myself. I don't need to listen to me, because then it, puts me in a position of like, not that I dislike listening. It's just like, it's not relevant to me. I'd rather listen to something else. And then you will find that you listen to somebody and they really resonate for a long, long, long time. And then all of a sudden they don't resonate anymore. I'm like, oh, this sounds really repetitive. It seems like all the same questions all the time. There's no movement here. It's getting stagnant. I can't listen anymore. So for me, it starts to smell like shit when it's stagnant. Yeah. For me, it means dropping out more people and, asking, okay, where else is there more information for me? And where else can I find something that is relevant? And there's a lot of books out there that have a lot of information if you can decipher and streamline some of that info. What about you, Norma?
As I was sitting here, listening to what you were replying or what you were expressing, I keep reading, how she wrote this. And, it says is one of our goals. If you want to, state it as a goal, that's fine. But understand that this is for you. And when we're working with ourselves, it's more about the will, not as much as a goal. Do you have the will? Is there a will? Is your will so strong to want to know something different about you? Is your will so strong to give you the tools that you need and to guide you in this will, to have the courage to recognize the things that are fractalized and look at them from that observable mode and say, okay, I see you. I know who you are. And just talking with that part of yourself, whether you define it as a shadow or a light, it doesn't matter. It's still a part of you. Because like I said, with the outside influences, we became more fractalized in who we were, which now we're getting back to going within. So we are beginning to gain back. It's almost like being out on open sea, looking for self in a small boat, looking for a small island that you visited one time, but don't remember where it's at, but know that you left
island.
So it's like, yes, this lifetime is what you have. Focus on you and who you are here now. It's just, this is your time right here. The one that is and has the name of Melanie, who's in this female form experiencing this life. Who is Melanie? Get to know Melanie. Get to know those fractalized parts of yourself so that you can bring them together, see them, love them, not judge them, accept that you made choices from where you were, knowing that you just didn't know what you didn't know then.
Yeah.
Enjoy this process because there's a beauty to this process. And when you stand in that more of that observable position and you do it with the enormous amount of love that you would, especially the love that you show your children, show to self. Have that amount of love for self. Don't forget you were a child once too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Melanie says, thank you. I like me. Good. Well, that's really important, isn't it? Yeah. And there's no rush. Everyone's like, pushing. It's all about the journey, not the destination. And even though that sounds like so cliche, it's very, very true. Are you bringing joy throughout the destination or throughout the journey? Sorry, joy to the journey. And if you have not seen Inside Out 1 or 2, which is another cartoon, the things we do, I highly recommend it. Yeah. So just like I found a leaf on the car and it reminded me of Toothless from Train Your Dragon. When you have a daughter who's 18, you've seen a lot of these by default sometimes, and sometimes by choice. I'm like, oh, that leaf looks like Toothless. And I brought it in the house, right? Showing to Jade, showing to Norma. And Norma was like, I've never seen that show, that movie. And both Jade and I are like, what? So then we ended up watching How to Train Your Dragon. I swear, the more we watch mostly movies, most of what we watch is more animated than it is actors per se. And there's a lot to be taken out of these. What was your biggest takeaway in Train Your Dragon?
Just what I was speaking to earlier. The fact that somebody took something that they used their imagination for as a child and was able to bring it forth later on as an adult, create a script for it, be able to either write it as a book or as a movie script and put it out there for others to relate to.
Yeah.
And that's what I got most from the movie.
Yeah.
And it was just the playfulness of the movie that, anything is possible. Anything is possible because, even when the movie, it shows that the dragons live under this huge ass mountain. How much truth do we want to put to that? How much belief do I want to put to that? Because, I would really love to have my own dragon. I'm just saying. And, and our thoughts come down to what we believe. And how much can we utilize that imagination, our creative imagination, to bring forth the ability to propel ourselves into a world that exists. Because you see, the possibilities are endless. The multiplicities are many.
Right? Is that leaf still sitting on the table outside?
Hang on.
You'll see it. Hopefully you'll see what I saw. And this is literally me pulling out of my parking stall. Yes, many pets, but no dragons yet. You will. Absolutely. Okay. You got to hold it the right way.
I'm trying.
And an angle, and flip it so it's flat with the bottom down. Now turn it sideways. Now turn it sideways. Oh, boys. There you go. Yeah.
It's kind of shriveled under a little bit.
Yeah, it's changed, but it had the little ears that came up, and then it was the wings there. That's a little bit better. That side's a little bit better. But for me to go a leaf on my car, and then we end up watching it. So it's almost like, I don't know, her higher self is programming me.
I am your Rahu to your Ketu. I'm just saying. We're bringing the Amarita back. I'm just saying. The elixir of immortality. Let's go.
Yeah, so all of these things just bring so much joy. And I do have dragons with me. I am a dragon rider, right? And so I get much joy out of watching these movies. I have no fear of them at all. And energetically, I call dragons in all the time. Yeah. And, my car is a spaceship. This is how I live. It's like I'm a kid again, and I'm full on imagination everywhere all the time. Everywhere, everything, everywhere, all at once.
That's where our joy resides, because as kids, we didn't know anything any different unless somebody took us out of that joy.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm reminded again to share when my brother was young, how he had in the summer, it was a buddy, and it was their motorcycles they were on. In the winter, it was snowmobiles. And boy, if you knocked those things over within the house, of course, having no idea they were there, you would get a talking to. And it was the same brother that if he was watching something on the television, you had to walk in front of him to get his attention. Yeah.
Yeah, you may have to say what the twins' names were. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. What's the drummer name? His twin daughters. Oh, yeah, beautiful.
Wanana and Tumana. Yeah, something might have been something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's really, really, really was our full make it again, because that's got more truth to it than what you believe to be your reality now. This
We're
is
so
what we're.
unlimited.
Yeah. Now it's gonna take, space, depending on how much you can shift energetically. This is why I can be very careful of what you take in, what you consume with these eyes, these ears, and this mouth, because it is creating you. It is creating your reality, because it's creating a vibration that is sending out the frequency, which is then attracting what you want. So, I can't say it enough, because I witnessed my mother. I witnessed her sucked into the tube, the boob tube, and not no interest in anything else. That was the other name for it when I was growing up. Yeah, absolutely. Right? We all were way too serious trying to figure this game out, because everyone else told us what the rules were, but it was their rules, not our rules. We're claiming our rules back. You want to talk about true sovereignty? That's what this is. When you're full of passion and what you do does not feel like work, and you're not trading time for dollars, you're in a creation, a joy state, that it's gotta come back. It's the law of the universe. And actually we should go through that, not today, but we will go through the laws of the universe. Besides, everything is mental, because and they need to be broken down quite well to bring it in. But there's the the game's here. It's are you
Imitation.
hmm?
Sorry.
Limitation? Go ahead.
Imitation. I
Imitation.
was reading what Melanie wrote, and she was like, the wrong man. No, it's the imitation manual.
Right. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. Absolutely. We can discuss those more. I'm actually just gonna make a note for that. And on that note, we had a wonderful live session with members, and Norma Jean and her ever creation mode doesn't stop. Created some really beautiful things. And our mission is to help you stay accountable within the membership, to do some specific small steps, as little as you want or as much as you want, as little as you want or as much as you want. And getting through those, you will see that you are a new person over time. So as long as you're not letting the world ping pong you around and emotionally reacting to everything, you do have an opportunity for that. And so that's what we've been focused on over there in membership, and it's becoming stronger and stronger, and more defined. So we will do a workshop at one point, so we can give you all those tools in a Zoom, and you can ask questions, and then it's up to you to manage using the actual tools. Yeah. Okay. Shay says, in the movie, I like that she finally saw her husband for everything he was and grateful for what they had. Yeah, he was just joy. Absolutely. Just joy. Simply joy. Oh, Jay just called us 444.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Jade's all on this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna say, seeing numbers is like the first beginning of being the observer, because now you're paying attention to your intuition and you're seeing these numbers show up. To me, would you agree that that's kind of the beginning? It was for me.
It depends on who's, for you and I, yes, because we can see. Because we're looking from the inside, and it's showing itself back. It's mirror reflecting to us. So, to answer what? Oh, the collective energy. It's the collective energy. At this point, we can't worry about the collective. Do what you need to do for you, because the collective that you want to experience will begin to show up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Janice, I definitely feel the collective a little bit more just because of my container and the work that I do. And I've been feeling some good shifts. And I'm going to keep saying it. The more chaos there is, the more I'm like, oh yeah, we're getting somewhere. I know I can hear it. Because just on the other side, when it is most chaotic, that is when we're going to flip. So I just keep looking and go, oh, must be getting close. But I still make sure I fill my cup up. Go ahead, Norma.
I mean, if you want to look at it in world sense, kind of visual, when there's blood in the streets, be ready.
Yeah.
Because that was something that, you know, they utilized in trading. Is when you see something going down, wait. Just because there's blood in the streets doesn't mean that there's not an opportunity once we get through that.
Yeah.
Because you see, this is what chaos does. It causes that mayhem. It causes that people running around all crazy and things, because that's just how humans respond to things right now. So the ones of us that are here and we have a little more of awareness, and we don't have to get to that space or place to be involved in that, but can stand still and hold that resonance while they do what they need to, knowing that by the time they get through this and they've expended so much of that energy, that vital, beautiful energy of that is for them, we'll be here. We'll be here to assist them. We'll be here to guide them. We'll be here to be able to say, let us walk with you on this journey. Let us show you that this journey can be different.
Yeah.
But you must have the will and have the courage.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the collective is now like, well, there's nothing I can do about these wars. There's nothing or this politics is looking crazier by the second. Like, what the heck? I'm out, right? So just, again, choosing self. And so we're going to wrap it up with this, because I'm actually on with Dave and the team here shortly. And so choose you. Choose you first. Choose you first to fill your cup. For when you do, it's so much easier to do anything else. Liken it to the oxygen mask on a plane, right? Liken it to, are you a better mom when you're all stressed out and working and meal cooking and cleaning? Or are you a better mom when you go and have a nice bath and then you come out and read a bedtime story? So you master working with your kids, even, mom needs me first. And I always mention that to parents when I work with them, even in my painting company. I'm like, what have you done for you? Have you got some time for you? Make sure you're making time for you, because otherwise your mind gets like this and then you start spinning this way. And then they go to talk therapy, and all that does is relive shit again and again and again. So we don't believe in talk therapy. We're happy to talk something out, but it's not a rehash, because people get into that loop of what their thoughts are, and your thoughts are not you. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You're the observer of all of that. Yeah. Norma Jean?
You know, hopefully I can express this in a way that it helps everyone to understand what I'm about to convey. Look at it this way. Let's say that you have 20 people that showed up to your house and you have one glass. You can fill it up with water. When we know that we have the capability of filling up that water and knowing we're utilizing it throughout the day to fill ourselves, and we have some people that come to us and we know we can only fill up that glass of water once a day, and you have 20 people standing there saying they're thirsty, what happens if we give them too much too soon? They get sick. They throw up. So as we understand that, we know how to hold this cup of self first, because we know how to hold that beautiful amarita, so to speak, of immortality for ourselves. Then we're going to know that when these 20 other people show up, and this is just an analogy, a metaphor, that when those 20 other people show up, we don't give them too much at one time yet. By the time we're done giving everyone water, there's still enough for You.
Yeah.
So think of it as a glass of water, half empty, half full. If you can give a sip of water to 20 people and still have half a glass left, you're doing great.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sharon, maybe it's not as complex.
Complexity always leads back to simplicity.
Right? What if we always just chose joy, chose us?
Joy is that
Instead of
balance.
going right into these thought patterns where we get in a loop of like, nee, 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 nee. It's like the merry-go-round. Shit, I can't get off. Yeah. So yeah, to make it simple, make it easy. It's not difficult. It may feel like it in the moment, but if somebody else can point it out to you in another aspect, another way, that's the true beauty of it. And that's what we've been doing on our weekly group calls. So
Yep.
we love you very much. Take what resonates and chuck the rest in the fuck it bucket. Just remember to empty your fuck it bucket once in a while. Yeah. weaving in and out. Ooga, 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 ooga. All right. We love you guys. Joy is our birthright. Peace is our birthright. And abundance is our birthright.
Bingo.
Ding, 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 ding. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.